Hello, it happened to be around the time that I was making my first response video to the comment on Twitter regarding the 36 days of continuous daylight at McMurdo Station. The first video that I made, I decided I was going to make some renderings from my multi-projection Earth clock app that I had written last year. And it happened to be around the same time that Apple released their Vision Pro series thing there, whatever that's called. And as I was reading up on what this thing was really all about and how Apple wanted to make this a device that is meant to be worn pretty much all the time in what they call augmented reality, that it kind of differed slightly from what I was used to and what I had seen years past about virtual reality headsets. This video is about neither of those, but I thought that since the whole idea of wearing these things came back into the forefront, I started to explore the idea of 3D videos or using a smartphone to render a video in some kind of 3D mode. And I also looked into some very cheap alternatives to these really expensive headsets because I'm not really planning to get into this in any real or serious sort of way. I would say that the amount of financial effort that I would be willing to put into it would be something similar to Google's cardboard thing, whatever this is called. In this video, I wanted to start a new rabbit trail kind of series of videos that is dealing more with 3D films and projecting things in 3D, tying it back to something more like this. Stereoscopy has been around for some time, and this is probably, from what I can tell, one of the more common ways to project two images side by side to give that 3D effect. In fact, this sort of technology has been around for quite some time. If I were to look into what it would be like in the 21st century, I decided to go on YouTube to see how other people have gone about doing something similar. And it seems that in a real 3D video environment, the aspect ratio is compressed horizontally to get the two images side by side. And I certainly plan to do that in the future, but for now, I just want to focus on making a 3D video that is more in line with something like this. And so in this video, I decided to settle on the idea of something similar to what Magic Eye tends to focus on. It's a form of audio stereogram, and I'm going to tend to focus on this one. So the two images, if they're side by side, the image on the left will be intended to be viewed by the eye on the left, and the one on the right will be intended to be viewed by the eye on the right. I've looked at different sizes of displays, and unfortunately, this is going to be one of those things that you're going to have to look at the image either from very far away if it's a fairly large screen, or if you can view this video on a smartphone a little bit more at arm's length away. Otherwise, your eyes are going to have to be cross-eyed a little bit too much, and it could be a little bit painful. So just to recap, as of last year, I wrote this multi-transformation Earth clock. I wrote it almost to mock David Weiss's flat Earth clock app, and I focused on the accuracy of the projection. One of the things that I did do was that I was able to create a globe-based transformation like this, and I could choose to center the globe either where the sun is or where the observer is, for example, but none of this would have helped for a stereoscopic kind of video. So what I did was, and I haven't committed the code yet, I'd probably have to do some code cleanup before I commit that to my GitHub project. But I've created a separate mode, which is a stereo projection. So the idea is that based on whichever of the center options that I've picked. The one on the left would end up being a few degrees west of that position, and the one on the right would be a few degrees east of that position. Once I had that in place, I was able to rerun the script that I had generated for these renderings, and I was able to create a stereoscopic video, not only where the sun is overhead, but also from the perspective of McMurdo Station. So to get the full effect of the following video animations that I'm about to play, I'm going to stress that you really should watch this on a fairly small screen, or you'd have to somehow stand far enough away from the screen that when you cross your eyes so that you can see these images like you would for a magic eye, that it's not going to cause any great amount of eye strain. And so with that, I'm going to play these videos now. The first is going to be centered where the sun is. and the second is going to be centered where McMurdo Station is. That's going to be it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, I would appreciate the thumbs up, the subscribe, all that other good stuff. With that, I'm going to see you again in another video soon enough. So bye for now.